So I just had a string of Dead by Daylight games back to back to back to back. I think I played just 4 or 5 games in a row of Springtrap, and I didn't win a single one. Here's my rank. Rank 4. I didn't get any pips.
Did they? Anyways, yeah, give me a sec.
I don't know if I was joining or not.
Matrix. I'm gonna.
Fuck.
You can't if you want to.
Those are valid. Why do we want to hear it?
You'll notice there really quick as well, every single time my build was different except for the first 2 games, and then batteries included was in all the builds I used when I changed stuff up and whatever. Sure. I even came back in that final round from a slug, only for an unbreakable to happen. Nothing wrong with the perk, nothing wrong with that, that's on me, maybe I should pick someone else up first or whatever. Conviction also could have been used. Doesn't matter. Still didn't win a single match there. Am I bad? Maybe. I'm using some strong builds. I could be using stronger builds, but I have made this video 2 or 3 times after every major loss streak. And then the next day it turns around and I end up winning like 6 games in a row, and I'm like, alright, you know what? Maybe that was just a bad day for me. But here I am. I haven't worked today at all. The day is, what day is it? Checks phone. August 6th, okay? I've been playing for the last an hour and a half or so, just casually, some killer. Just Springtrap because he's my favorite killer right now. Anyways, I made this video so many times, and I ended up deleting it because of the fact that I just do good the next time. But now, again, I didn't work. I haven't done anything. I've sat here. I hopped back on Dead by Daylight after taking a day off. Maybe that's my excuse, is I just haven't practiced in a day and everything goes out the window. I don't know. But I got a rant that I think Killer is weaker than Survivor. Maybe not by a lot, but by still a big margin. And the biggest thing here is perks. I think Dead by Daylight's perks for Killer are some of the most laughable they've ever been, some of the worst state they've ever been. And I'm going to go through every single Killer perk really fast, rapid fire, on if I think they're good, bad, or okay. Again, maybe you'll disagree, maybe you'll agree. I don't know. I'm also going to mention which ones have been nerfed by Killer. Because my biggest gripe is nearly every single generator perk's been nerfed. But regardless, really quick, we're going to talk about how. Well, let's talk about the base stuff in the game that's been buffed for Killer. At least since I've been playing. Gens have gone up to 90 seconds instead of 80. You can now, when you kick a generator, it's 5% instead of 2.5%. And survivors have to repair the generator 5% to stop it from regressing. Cool. They've added anti-camp, anti-tunnel. They've made hook timers longer for survivors. They've nerfed a lot of status effects that include like mangled for healing. I believe it's mangled. It's either mangled or the other one, hemorrhage. I believe it's mangled though. It might have nerfed both too. I don't know, but I believe it's just mangled that they nerfed. So healing's been nerfed. Healing's gotten moved around for survivors, but awesome healing perks are still around. You can still heal twice with the medkit research. Anyways, we'll get into those perks. Those are the things, the base things. Generators have been sure buffed for Killer, but hooks have been absolutely abysmally nerfed. Regardless, let's just go into the perks. I think, man, again, the perks are in the worst state they've ever been for a Killer. Let's look again. Meta, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna go. I'm gonna rapid fire them really quick. Just say if I think they're good, think they're bad, think they're okay, or they've been nerfed or buffed. This one, solid perk. You can use it and just see people healed. Agitation, a good perk to get to hooks. Again, these two very niche. You might want a better, or a perk like Friends to the End or Barbecue and Chili. For agitation, you can use Iron Grasp for a Mad Grit. As an alternative, this is probably the best backpack perk though. Alien Instinct, it's been nerfed, but it's still relatively solid. You can see the first person who's injured, if no one's injured, because people like to heal all the time to get perks like Finesse and Dramaturgy, fair enough to them, then it doesn't do anything, but you still see the person from the furthest person away from you, they're oblivious for 60 seconds, so it's a long time you see them, but if you're on an indoor map and they're moving around and that timer goes out, you might not find them. So it's okay. All Shaking Thunder, bad. This is just so situational. Awakened Awareness, bad unless you're fully focused on a backpack build, not worth it. Bamboozle, good for some killers. It's a solid vaulting perk, blocks the vault behind you. It's okay. Yes, you can catch certain survivors sometimes, but it's a okay perk. Barbecue Chili, maybe still the best aura perk. You see people for 5 seconds when they're 40 meters away. Solid perk. Batteries included, they nerfed this. It's still okay on a killer like Sprint Trap. It's what I use it on. To get, you throw the axe and you're 120, you have the axe you're 115. Okay, but they nerfed it. Piece to prey. Very situational. You kind of have to force a bloodlust to get this. Yeah, they made it better. Still not good. Bitter Murmur. Each time a gen repaired, survivors within 60 meters, you see them for 5 seconds, and then you see them at the end of the game for 10 seconds. Sure, this can help out, but it's still not super good. So the general perks that killers have are some of the worst. Compared to the general perks that the survivors have, like Resilience, and you get this. Again, this is pretty much just the Dark Sense for Survivor, but just for Killer. Again, it's okay. There's just better aura perks. Looking at general Survivor perks really quick, Dark Sense is a lot better for Survivor than the Bitter Murmur is for Killer, I would say. Deja Vu is good for Survivor. Hope is good for Survivors. Kindred is good for Survivors. Lightweight is good for Survivors. All those perks you can use. No One Left Behind you can use. Plunder's Instinct, it does its job well for getting items, but if you're not going for items, it doesn't have a use. So, if you're going for items, use that. All the other ones, though, are good in any scenario. Premonition, I would say that's bad. Resilience, good. Slippery Meat, it's niche. It has to use that build. Small game, again, niche. You have to go for hexes or totems. Spine Chill, nerfed, bad. This is not happening. It has its job, specifically if you're going for like a hyper-focus build. Besides that, not really good. We'll make it good. All that stuff, there you go. All those general perks for Survivor are very good. But then on Killer, like I said, Bitter Murmur, I think there are better aura options. There are better aura options than Dark Sense for Survivor. But Survivors have so many good aura options where Bitter Murmur, again, it's fine. It's just usually you're only going for one person. So you can see all 4 survivors, but you're only going to go for one. Whereas with the survivors, there's only one killer, so you have to keep track of one person in that Dark Sense regard. Dew Stalker's just bad. If you're missing people on the ground, that's on you. Distressing is bad. They even took away the blood point bonus. Noed, good. Hex of the Hunt, good. Insidious, it's so niche, even though it just got buffed to 1 second, but it's so niche, it's bad. Iron Grasp, you have to run your build around it. Scorchhook Monster Shrine, again, you kind of have to run your build around it. Shattered Hope is bad. Sloppy Butcher, solid. Splash from the Shadows is specific on certain killers, but not, again, it's a good starting perk, I would say, but regardless. Unrelenting, again, maybe Singularity, that's it. And Whispers, whoop-de-doo, you see people within 32 meters. It doesn't tell you where, you just see them. So again, now we technically do have like Deadlock, and we have Scorchhook, Gift of Pain, and we have Hex Plaything because of course, Cenobite not being in the game anymore, and then vice versa. If Demogorgon wasn't in the game anymore, there was Surge, or again, Jolt, or Claustrophobia, whatever those words were. But again, imagine if we get Cenobite back, they just lose their only gen perk that's free. There's the issue there. So again, considering, again, you got speed and aura and gen progression and all this stuff for the survivors, and killers get, worse healing with Sloppy Butcher, an endgame perk with like Noed, some auras for Bitter Murmur, faster hooks, whatever. When again, faster hooks for Monster Shrine only saves like 10 seconds off old hooks anyways, so whatever. You see the difference there? Anyways, getting back to it. Blood Echo, I believe this got nerfed down to 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was 40 seconds before. If it wasn't, it was always 30 seconds, whatever. Still not the best perk. Because, again, most people want to be healthy now for their builds that use stuff like Finesse or Dramaturgy. Those 2 perks are really good. Blood Warden, solid endgame perk, but you kind of have to sometimes even just open the endgate yourself, which makes it very iffy. Bloodhound, bad. Brutal Strength, solid breaking perk for certain killers, but at the same time, Fire Up can be better in the endgame. But again, it's not a bad perk. I just think this should be more. Call of Brine got nerfed and then buffed, and then, buffed and then nerfed, and then buffed again, but the little thing is the generators regress at 0.25% of a charge, so a quarter of a charge per second, whereas survivors repair a gen 1 charge per second. So if 100% is the base, that's ruin, that means every 4 seconds 1 charge goes away. So this is now 150%. So it's not quite, it's not quite 0.5% of a charge, it's 0.375% of a charge per second, which, again, gen regressing as a whole is just terrible. It's not super good. Call of Brine and Overcharge, you can put them together, but it still doesn't even equal like 300%. Or before it was it used to be 200. It was 1 charge per second, which is still 90 seconds it takes for a generator to repair. This will still take over 3 minutes, even if you use Call of Brine. it's not good. The skill check is nice. Corrupt Intervention, super good, but it got nerfed to now if someone goes in the dying state, it just goes away. I played a Myers game the other day where this was my own mistake, but I probably should have stocked more. I ended up just M1ing the guy in tier 2, not having stocked him enough, and with like a minute left still, Corrupt Intervention went away, but they nerfed it. Colorophobia, good perk on certain killers that, utilize a very good terror radius, but again, if you don't do that, it's not super good. Coup de grace, very situational, good on Clown. It's okay. Cruel Limits, it's okay. Again, very situational on specific killers. Dark Arrogance, it just makes you vault 25% faster. I understand they can't, bamboozle that vaulting perk that makes that flat vault speed, with no negative effect. But being stunned by 25%, why? That's just unfortunate. Dark Devotion got buffed, but again, unless you're focusing on an Obsession build, not very good. Darkness Revealed, good on killers that reload, but again, you can use this on a killer like Trapper or Springtrap, but you gotta go out of your way to do that, unless, when you're Trickster or Huntress to reload, it's good. Any other killer, not too good. Dead Man Switch got nerfed. Used to be every single gen that someone, hopped off, it would be blocked for a certain amount of time. Now it's only one gen that's blocked for 50 seconds. So again, it's been nerfed, it's been buffed, it's rearranged. It can be good. Again, people use Pain Res DMS, and that's really the only way I would say it's good. Again, I'm probably gonna get flamed for this one. I just don't think it's super good. Not in the top 10. Deadlock got nerfed from 30 to 25 seconds. Deathbound, sure, it's kind of solid when you're oblivious from away from people for 4 meters. It's really good. But then you have to focus on a build like that. It's just really weird. Deerstalker, bad. If you're missing people who are on the ground, that's on you. Discordance, yeah, you find people, but now that everyone spawns together, their goal is going to either hop on a gen right away, so it doesn't really help there, because you're heading probably in the direction where they're going to be anyway, so they're all grouped up at the start, so you're just going to find them, or they're going to hop on this and you're going to go there anyways and have a better idea at the start. Discordance can be good late game, but again, it's okay. Dissolution, I believe the time got nerfed. I could be wrong about that, but it's okay still. Not the best perk. There are better pallet break perks out there or add-ons or whatever, but it's okay. Distressing, they literally took away the BP bonus. I used to love this on Wesker. It's still good on, killers that have a bigger terror radius for a terror radius build. That's it. Dominance, bad. Dragon's Grip got buffed. Not too bad, or it's okay. You can still use it here, but again, the cooldown is just annoying. Dying Light can be good if you actually get this ramped up enough with enough gens not being popped. Besides that, I mean, it just gives a buff to the Obsession. Not a buff for Generator, sure, but you really need to get this going. If you don't, it's bad. Especially when the Obsession dies, you just lose this. Enduring, endures, this is really only the only perk of its kind. It's okay, it's pretty good. Eruption, gen perk that got nerfed. Instead of being incapacitated for 30 seconds, you now just see auras for 12 seconds. Also, that's another thing for general gen stuff that has been happening. You can only kick a gen 8 times. I understand Skull Merchant ruined that, but still is annoying. Fire Up got buffed, good perk, I would say, on a lot of killers like Michael or even Trapper. Force Hesitation, good perk, really stops flashbang plays or even sabotage plays or stuff like that. Force Penance, solid perk, again, if you're worried about Metal of Man. Other than that, I mean, putting the broken status effect for people who take a protection hit when maybe they're on your shoulder, again, they're trying to do a sabotage play or whatever, it can be okay, but it's, again, not super good, not even good. It's fine. Forever Entwined, just use Fire Up. It's better in every way. I would say this is bad. Franklin's Demise got nerfed for no reason. If you have a problem with Franklin, that it ruins your items, okay, sure, there's chests in the game, there's other perks in the game, there's other add-ons in the game that can help you work around this. For Franklin's Demise, I don't know why it got nerfed. So you hit someone and they run away, but that medkit that has a syringe is still there, so that once they get unhooked, they run back to where you hit them, grab their medkit, and now use the syringe right away. Even then, the charges, it still took like a minute or 90 seconds or whatever it was for the charges to go away. So if you were saving that medkit for a syringe and it was full, you were fine. I don't know why they nerfed that. Friends till the end, solid perk, good for aura reading, gives you exposed status effect. That's okay. Furtive Chase, it's never been good. This is fine again if you're running like an undetectable build or whatever, but bad. Game of Foot, they nerfed the haste unnecessarily. Also, this is just so random. You have to be chasing the Obsession for this to work. Sure. Gearhead, sure. Genetic Limits, solid perk. Grim Embrace, buffed. Good perk. Well, the first gen perk that's been buffed here. It's been buffed and it's very good. Haywire, this is just bad. Yeah, only endgame builds are going to utilize this, and even then, for Remember Me, I would say very select killers have to use this. If not, once they see that you have this perk, they maybe let go and they notice, oh, because 99 gens isn't even a thing anymore, or sorry, 99 doors. But if they do, for whatever reason, they see this, they'll go ahead and immediately open that door as fast as they can. So whatever. Help wanted, very situational, can be good, but very situational. Most of the hexes are okay. Hex Spell Favor, good. Hex Crowd Control, good. Devour Hope, good. Face the Darkness, can be good. Very situational. Haunted Grounds, still solid. You either get value out of it or you don't. But it's it's a coin flip. It can be good, can be bad. Hunter's Lullaby has to be with usually Terror Radius skill check builds. Noed, still solid. Hex Nothing But Misery takes forever to set up, then it can be good. Pentimento, been nerfed. It used to be 30%, and then of course it was the gens, and then the healing, and the recovery speed, and I believe it was door opening speed, and then it was permanent. Then they nerfed it down to 20% for all that stuff, and now it's just 20% plus 3% for healing and repair. I would say it's still nerfed. Hex Bathin, solid. Hex Retribution, buffed and solid. Ruin's been nerfed like 2 or 3 times now. Used to be the fact that well, it used to be when you hit good skill checks, it would regress. So you had to hit great skill checks, but again, they could make it that now. Considering a lot of survivors, the game's very old. A lot of people are hitting great skill checks. Yeah, it wouldn't be good for new players, but for veteran players, it would be really good against them. I would say forces them to have to hit great skill checks even more. But then they nerfed it to 200%, sure. So instead of gen regressing at a quarter of a charge per second, it was 0.5 of a charge per second. So still took around 180 seconds, or at least in modern day. I believe they nerfed it before. But with gens being 90 seconds, it would take 180 seconds. Still 3 minutes for a gen that was 99% to regress all the way back to 0. 3 minutes is crazy considering that's like almost a third of a game. Hex Third Seal, very situational, can be good on specific killers, or if your build's wrapped around it, but whatever. Thrill the Hunt got buffed and then nerfed, and now it's in still a solid state. Okay. Two can play, bad. Undying, solid. Wretched Fate, again, if you're focusing around the obsession, just say, hey, middle finger, good. Hoarder, bad. Kind of have to use a chest build, but survivors aren't going for that. Hubris has to focus around Spirit Fury Undying. If you don't, or Undying, Spirit Fury Enduring. If you don't, kind of bad. Human Greed, Aura, sure, bad. Hysteria, making people oblivious for a long time, as long as everyone's injured. Okay, sure. I'm all ears. I would say good Aura perk, especially if you're a killer like Huntress or Sprint Trap or Death Slayer. You can utilize them around window very well. Infectious Fright, very good for snowballing the game with like Bubba or Oni or Billy. Besides that, not super good. Bad. Again, backpack build, or if you're a trapper. Iron Maiden, if you were a Huntress or a Trickster. Other than that, meh. Knockout got buffed, I would say. Before, sure, it encouraged slugging, right? But then they just changed the entire thing to now, if you just drop a pallet and run away, if you use a build like Spirit Fury Enduring, or if you utilize a build where you break pallets extremely fast, like a Sprint Trap build that I do have, where, you throw down the axe and then use Brutal Strength, fire up, break a pallet really fast, they're just super slow. Hey, I would say this is an okay perk now. Language Touch, very situational. You want to use this for spies. The Pursuer, good Aura perk. Probably, again, maybe up there with Barbecue is the best Aura perk in the game. Leverage got better. Block Ceiling, but then you have Sloppy Butcher and other stuff. Really just Sloppy Butcher. Lightborn, this is a U problem if you're dealing with flashlights and you have to use this. Again, I would just say it's a bad perk because Survivor's going to cry about it. But then again, if you're a killer and you can't avoid flashlights, again, a flashbangs is the bigger thing that's going to catch you. But with flashlights, again, you can play around those very easily. Unless you're in chase, of course. Machine learning, situational, and they nerf this anyways from 8% to 10% haste. Why? Mad Grit, again, situational, but can be really good. Can be that trump card perk. Maker Choice, solid perk, especially if you're a killer, can get around very fast. Merciless Storm, still a good perk. Mindbreaker, good perk. Modern Abuse, with the FOV thing, it was like a very small nerf, but it's never really been solid anyways. Nemesis, okay, you can change the obsession around, but again, this is just kind of like an obsession-based perk. No Quarter, which is basically Merciless Storm, but for healing. But the thing is, this is only when you heal yourself, so if you just have someone else heal you, it's fine. No Way Out, solid perk. None are free. I would just use the Demogorgons perk. The Cruel Limits, just use, I almost said Claustrophobia, it's not what it's called anymore. I just use that, it's just a much better way in everything, because this is just the end game. Nowhere to Hide, good perk. Oppression, Got buffed for the cooldown, but other than that, it just either gives a hard skill check, and then if you miss the skill check, it's a missed skill check, or it just makes every gen regress, which again, regression perks in general and regression in general is terrible. Overcharge, bad. Overwhelming presence just got changed. A lot of item charges and all that got changed. I understand it. So again, if someone uses an item, they're near you, they're exhausted. But usually, specifically, if they're healing and they're near you, but you're not after them, they're just going to heal and they know their exhaustion's gone. If they're doing a gen, their exhaustion's gone, stuff like that. And there's a cooldown on this perk. Fan of Fear, good perk. That you can't make it much better, can't make it 2.5, can't make it longer, but you also can't make that cooldown any better. But it's still an okay perk. Especially on a killer like Springtrap. Play with your food, very situational. It can be good, can be bad. Have to run your build around it. Pop Goes Louisa was 25% of its current progress, so if a gen was at like 50%, you kicked it, it went down to 25. The time was changed a whole bunch to buff and then nerf and have a good middle ground, sure. And then it was 30% of its current overall progress, so if a gen is at 10% and you kick it, 30% of that is 3% plus whatever you kick it. And then now it's just down to 20% of its current progress, so if you kick a gen at 10%, it goes down by 2%. Or if you kick a gen at 99%, it goes down to 80%. Again, like, why the unnecessary nerfs and stuff? It just makes it bad. Still one of the best gen perks, but just why nerf it so much? Especially when they remove the 3-gen meta, when you can only get this 12 times total, because 12 hooks, you can only kick a gen 8 times. Been nerfed. Again, another gen perk that's been nerfed. Predator, solid perk. Super long cooldown for some reason. Considering, you lose chase, you're going to catch back in chase. Maybe they'll lose you again. Rancor, solid perk, just you see everybody for a little bit and they can kill the obsession at the end of the game. But of course, if you're a survivor with friends and you call that out early, you'll probably get protection, that should be fine. Rapid Brutality, good perk. Remember Me, better perk. Save the Best for Last, nerfed. It's fine, I would say. Again, you have to maybe wrap your build around it. Good for certain killers like Houndmaster. Good for, again, it can be used, but it's, again, nerfed for whatever reason. Floods of Rage, good aura perk, good with Scorch Hook stuff. Hook Gift of Pain, again, if you're going to be, again, Hemorrhage and Mangle got nerfed. If you're going to focus around, again, progression, maybe stack this with other stuff like Dying Light, but sure. Bad perk, Hammond's Trick. Jagged Compass, yeah, you start setting up Scorch Hooks all over the place, and you see the generator with the most progress. So if you have Pop, good perk, but if you run this on a killer like, again, Trapper, and you're running Pop for whatever reason, whatever. Monster Shrine, situational, can be good. Pain Res was 30% constantly. I believe it's 30% constantly, no tokens. And then it was 25% with tokens. Now it's 20%, so they just nerfed this into oblivion. Again, it's still a good perk, but you can use it 4 times. 20% doesn't mean another gen perks has been nerfed. Gen perks are, you have to use them, but they're not good. As good as they once were, I'll say that. Septic Such, bad. Shadowborn, you're blinded for like a quarter percent of this 10 seconds, like 2.5 seconds, depending on add-ons and whatnot, maybe longer, maybe shorter. Bad. Shattered Hope, no one uses boons, and if they do, you're never going to have this. Bad. Sloppy Butcher, again, Hemorrhage and Mangle got nerfed. Splash from the Shadows, can be solved on specific killers. It's okay. Spirit Fury, have to use the Enduring Spirit Fury build. If you're not going to, why are you using this by itself? Starstruck, backpack build, but also they used to be, I believe, 60 seconds exposed. Now it's 30 seconds, and there's a massive cooldown. But usually, that way, unless you actually get a hit off, that makes sense. Strider, good for Spirit, and that's it. Superior Anatomy, got buffed, solid. Surge, always been a solid perk, but at the same time, 8% regression, right? 8% regression is 8 seconds for a Survivor. And for context, again, say you use Ruin or you've kicked the gen and then you hit it with Surge, right? So let's say Ruin, 8% right away. It's sad to think that this is, but for regression, that's 32 seconds. Because again, 0.25, so 4 seconds per charge, and then again 8%, so 8 charges, whatever. That's 32 seconds you save from using Surge. But then you have to down someone near a gen, whatever. Good perk. Surveillance, it's fine. Terminus got buffed, okay, but again, endgame build. Territory Imperative, why? Thanatophobia got nerfed, used to be again like 5.5% or 6% or whatever, and now it's 2% per person injured, and everybody has to be injured for you to get that holy 20%, which again, 20% is good, but the fact that, again, technically gen perk, whatever, nerfed. Thrilling Tremors, buffed. It's still pretty solid. Again, you're not going to be picking up someone within every 30 seconds, probably, unless you're like above or someone. Thwack, specific killers. Tinker, solid perk, but I would say specific killers again who can get around the map fast, like Hillbilly, but needs that, undetectable status. Trail Torment, 30 seconds, got buffed, solid. Ultimate Weapon, I would, again, you can use this on any killer. I would just say it's better for a killer who uses lockers. That's just me. Unbound got nerfed from 10% speed to 7%. Again, why? Sure, maybe it was OP, but a survivor can still use that time to get to a window. They evolve that much faster than a killer. Undone, Doctor, Unforeseen. Sure, I Trail Torment. These two are okay. Unnerving Presence, Terror Radius build, Unrelenting, Singularity. Weave Attunement works with Franklin's, but you probably won't see this perk anymore because it's only good with Franklin's. And Franklin's, again, in my opinion, not very good. Whispers, sure. It just tells you someone's within your terror radius of 32 meters, or again, maybe a smaller or whatever. Someone's within that radius. You have no idea where. Could be in a locker, could be in the basement, could be hiding behind at the corner of the map, but they're in your radius. And Xantry Tactics, sure, you see the auras of, pallets and windows. Plus, when someone drops a pallet, you see the aura. Good. So again, I just don't think a lot of killer perks are good. On the flip side, let's go to Survivor. Let's go to Quentin, because all my perks are purple on Quentin. Ace in the hole, if you're going for items, sure. But other than that, bad perk. Adrenaline got nerfed. Even if you remove just the Freddy part, because it just unintentionally nerfed Freddy, sure. It got nerfed. Still can be very good. Again, if you're in chase, if you're at the corner of the map, knowing a gen's going to pop, because you can see that now, I would still say this is a good perk. The fact that you don't get an insta-heal, just run Resurgence if you want an insta-heal off hook, right? Especially, that's anytime. This is only endgame specific. So, I think this is still solid. Aftercare, see everybody you heal or help. Sure. Alert, underrated but very good perk for, again, 5 seconds when someone breaks a pallet. Breaking a pallet is like 2 point something or 2 seconds. So you still see them for like 3 seconds while moving, kicking it or whatever. So again, this can just be good. Especially if you're on the other side of the map, you don't know where they are. You don't know who they are because maybe you're on mid-witch and they break a door. Solid perk. Enemy is necessary, buffed, and a solid perk. Apocalyptic Ingenuity. This is just a party pallet. I think this is very gimmicky because, again, you either stun or you don't. You have to go out of your way to use it, but it can be good. Appraisal works well at this. You have to run your chest build, whatever. Autodidact. I don't care what anyone says. I think this is a good perk. Now you only have 1 negative skill check, 1 neutral skill check, and 3 really good skill checks. And after that, everything is just constantly good heals. So good perk, especially if you're being a team player. Babysitter, good perk. Backer player got nerfed to normal sprint burst speed or balance landing speed or life speed. But let's be honest, 200% was crazy, and you still have 10 seconds that this can activate, and it lasts longer. It lasts 5 seconds compared to balance landing, life. Sprint burst 3 seconds. This is 5 seconds. So again, this is still really good. And that just applies to a lot of Survivor stuff, not just perks and other stuff, but just like add-ons and things in general. Brand new part, when it first came out, you could repair an entire generator. And Survivors missed that, where 4 Survivors run 4 toolboxes with 4 brand new parts, and 4 generators will get done within 10 seconds because you instantly put it and a gen gets done. That's not broken, that's intentionally put in the game, but that's overpowered beyond belief. 200% for background player is overpowered beyond belief. Again, it's still in a balanced state, and it's still a really good perk. It's just not overpowered, which is, again, kind of the whole thing about this video, where killer stuff, a lot of their stuff is either balanced or bad. Survivors have either a lot of stuff that's either balanced or good. Balanced landing, good. Most of the Gaussian perks are super good. Bardic Inspiration, this is just for memes. Sure, if you're using a gen build as well, sure, but besides that, memes. Better than new upon completing a healing action on another survivor. That person does healing, opening chest, cleansing. This is bad. Better together, sure. I don't know how that helps you. Maybe you can make a call out to a newer player saying, hey, I'm at Shack. I see you. Go this way. Whatever. Or maybe you're in a comms, whatever. Bite the Bullet, underrated. This actually works with medkits and self-care and whatever. Good perk. Blast Mine, good perk. Blood Pact, situational. I'd say bad. Boil Over, if you run this build, good perk. Bond, solid perk. Boon Circle of Healing, still very good. Boon Dark Theory got buffed to be old made for this. If you want to run a speed build, it can be good. Other than that, bad. Boon Exponential, good. Boon Illumination, bad. Boon Shadow Step, good. Still, most of the boons are pretty good, just nobody uses them because there's better meta perks. Borrow Time, good. Body of Knowledge, got Shadow nerfed, but whatever, still good. Breakdown, solid nerf, solid perk. Again, you just unhook someone and that gen's just gone for 3 minutes, which again, that's like a third of a match, potentially. So, breakout, again, if you're running a whole sabotage build, good. Other than that, not very good. Buckle up got nerfed from being, having the endurance stats effect. Makes sense, but again, if you're using that, say, We're Gonna Live Forever, I believe, or whatever the heck the perk is called, the David perk. Again, I'm tired and I'm pissed, so if I can't remember perks names, I apologize. This can still be good. It's okay. Built to Last, solid perk. They just got buffed to, instead of being like 12 seconds or whatever, it's 10 seconds. Small buff, but again, if you're using say a Commodious toolbox with like 50 charges almost, and then you just get this back to, again, almost 50 charges again, and it's 66% of that, so again, nearly like 30 something charges, it can still be really good. Calm Spirit, you can use this to not scream. Blessing totems, whatever, just tell someone else if you're in comms, if you see a hex, and even then it might be haunted grounds, but you just don't scream and give your position away. So this counters like Infectious Fright and Phantom Fear and really good perks for killer. One perk. Camaraderie works well in a team, if not in a team, whatever, but still good. Champion of Light, I would say good. Chemical Trap, good. Clairvoyance, solid. Clean Break, very risky killing, risk and reward, but can be good. Come and Get Me, that new perk. Again, if you're good and confident in chase, to show yourself to the killer nearby. But even then, this is kind of bad because you're helping a survivor out who's injured within 24 meters, and they're being chased or they're about to get picked up, and you use this, the killer's probably going to pick up and chase the injured person anyway. So again, good if the killer's not very good, but bad in any other situation. Conviction, solid perk. Corrective Action, good for helping out new players. Besides that, not very good. Counterforce, good if you're trying to find all the totems and hexes, because maybe you're afraid of Noed. Besides that, bad. Cut Loose, sure, I don't why there's a cooldown. This could be better, but bad. Dance With Me, solid perk, and the cooldown is near non-existent then because it used to be a lot longer. Dark Sense, solid perk. Dead Hard, good perk. Deadline, if you're using generator builds. Besides that, this is kind of risky, not super good. Deception, again, this is kind of gimmicky, but can be good. DS, good perk. Yes, it's been nerfed from 5 to 3 seconds, then buff back up to 4. So again, this doesn't do anything to a Billy or a Nurse or a Blight or a Ghoul. This does everything to a Michael or a Trapper or even a Wraith or a Plague or anybody. So can be very, very good, or can be okay, good. Deja Vu, solid, never been nerfed. Still keep that 6% speed bonus, gen perk. Deliverance, solid perk, has that, you have to unhook someone first. Besides that, you just unhook yourself anywhere. Good. Desperate Measures got buffed, and I would still say this is solid. Why does that say 14%? I swear it was more than that, but whatever. Detective's Hunch, sure. You can see stuff when gens get done, but again, it's only chested totems, so not super good. Distortion, solid. It actually, requires you to take chase and not hide in the corner the entire game, so I would still say this is a good perk. Gimmick perk can work 1 out of 10 times, like Unbreakable, but meh. Do No Harm, solid perk, healing people. Dramaturgy, super good in meta. Again, that's why people want to be healed. They want to use this perk and either get extra speed or they want to get a random really good item. Duty of Care can be solid for, again, a team perk. Empathetic Connection, or Empathic Connection, heal other people faster, can be solid. Empathy, again, solid. See anyone in the map anywhere. Kind of similar, or okay, for the most part, anywhere. Unless you're like in one side of the map and then the absolute other side and they're touching a wall, boundary map, sure, you're not going to see them. But regardless, you're probably going to see them. Exaltation got buffed. This is very situational, but can be good, especially if you're just trying to upgrade an item. Eyes of Belmont, Lethal Pursuer for Survivor, good. Fast Track, situational, gimmicky, meh. Finesse, good. Fixated, you usually don't want to ever walk unless you're trying to be stealthy or save sprint burst, so whatever. Flashman, good. Flip Flop, kind of requires you to run the wiggle build, but good. Fogwise, solid. For the people, solid. Friendly competition, this can be okay. Again, that means you help someone do a gen. Then for the next 75 seconds, go do another gen together. If the killer's not on you, then 2 of you are just doing a gen faster, 5% faster together. So, sure. Hardened, you can just run Calm Spirit. Yeah. You don't get the aura of Calm Spirit, but Head On, it's an exhaustion perk. Still maybe the most gimmicky exhaustion perk, but all exhaustion perks are good. Hope, good. Hyper Focus requires you to be good at hitting quick skill checks, great skill checks even. But run a generator build, good perk. Inner Focus can be solid if you're running an aura build. Besides that, meh. Inner Strength, good, just a free heal. Invocation Treacherous Crows, bad. Invocation Weaving Spiders, pretty bad, but, can be used for something. Iron Will, solid. Kindred, solid. Last Stand, solid, and was bugged to be even better than it is, but still solid. Leader, solid. Left Behind, maybe you're doing an achievement for finding the hatch. Besides that, not really worth it. Light-footed, I can see this being used in a build with the new fog vial so that you can, maybe run away from people or whatever when you're healthy. Whatever, solid. Lightweight, solid. They buffed this. Used to be 3 seconds, now it's 5. Very good general perk. Life, solid. Low profile, gimmicky endgame builder, the only one. Bad. Lucky Break, solid, especially with the new fog vial. Lucky Star, with the new fog vial, whatever, can be okay. Made for this, one of the best perks in the game, in my opinion. I'm working on a video, or I've made the video already, can't remember, but good. Metal of Man, well, I mean, as I'm August 6th when I'm making this video, the rant, I haven't made the video yet, but good perk regardless. Metal of Man, you can't make it better, otherwise it breaks the game, but you can't already make it, so it's already bad. Very gimmicky, but it's solid. Mirrored Illusion, this doesn't really do anything, I would say bad. Most people aren't going to fall for that. Moment of Glory, again, very gimmicky, can be good, but, bad. Normally there's just a hardcore perk, so, I mean, if you want to go hardcore, sure, but, I mean, what it gives you is good. Being injured for the entire game. Then you get Iron Will and all that. Anyways, whatever. Sure. No One Left Behind, solid. Object of Obsession, used to be a lot better, but, still solid. Off the Record, amazing. Open-handed, when used with certain aura builds, solid. Overcome, solid. Overzealous, I mean, if you just want to do gens faster, be the gen jockey, sure, good. Parental Guidance, sure. Pharmacy got buffed. Again, not Quench's best perk, maybe not a good perk, but it's not meta. It's not bad at all, though. Again, whereas, it's no Shattered Hope. Plot Twist, good. Plunderer's Instincts, again, if you just want to run for items, good. Other than that, sure. Again, it's not a bad perk. That's the thing with a lot of survivors. A lot of killer perks are bad perks fundamentally. A lot of survivor perks are not bad perks. There's just better options. Again, for what this does, it's not bad at all. Poised, solid. Potential Energy just got buffed, and I could see this being, almost anywhere. Because, come on, it used to be 1.5 tokens, but now it's 1%, or, sorry, 1 token, or 1 charge, or whatever. So, again, solid. Power Struggle, have to run your build around it, but can be okay. Premonition, bad. Prove Thyself, got nerfed. Used to be 15%, now it's 10% for repair. Still good. Just not as good as it once was. Quick and Quiet, solid. Quick Gambit, got buffed, solid. Rapid Response, sure. It's fine, again, if you're using it not for its locker ability, but for the fact that maybe you're using Sprint Burst or Smash Hit even or whatever. Reactive Healing, sure, this is going to be okay. Reassurance, solid. Red Herring, bad. Repressed Alliance, can be solid. Residual Manifest, can be solid. Resilience, good. Resurgence, good. Rookie Spirit, underrated. Again, that's just the fact that all you have to do is 3 skill checks. Good, it doesn't matter if you good or great, just 3 skill checks, and you see every single generator that's progressing in the match. So if you're going against a doctor that uses oppression or whatever, or using even just, some, any code that uses oppression, for example, that's just an example. It could be pain res from the other side of the map, whatever. You just see that. Solid. Saboteur, solid. Scavenger, can be solid. Still gimmicky, probably the worst of the, pharmacy residual manifest kind of perks, but it's fine. Seed Partner, good and annoying. Second Wind, solid. Self-Care, could be better. Again, I got nerfed again, so again, just use a medkit. Self-Preservation, bad. Shoulder the Burden, solid, especially on a team, but solid regardless. Slippery Meat, have to run your build around it. Small Game, again, if you're afraid of no edge, sure. Besides that, I would say bad, but again, it's not a bad perk. It does something, but, you can run Counter Force, which is better. You can run literally anything. Smash It, good. Soul Survivor, bad if you're just banking on you being the last survivor all the time. This is just bad perk. So Solidarity, okay. Soul Guard, I feel like this is going to be seen a lot more with Conviction. Again, not as many people use hexes, but with Conviction being the thing, being able to pick yourself up right at that 25% mark. You can stack it to Unbreakable if you don't, whatever. But again, you're picked up at 25% right in front of the killer's face. Maybe you break pallet and whatever. Then you just take a hit, even though, again, you're going to go down in 30 seconds anyways. Still solid. Specialist, kind of have to run your build around it, so whatever. Spine Chill was a lot better. Bad now. Sprint Burst, good. Stakeout, I'll have to run your build around it. Still Sight, got buffed. I can definitely see this being in use, especially if someone's trying to mind game you. Besides that, it's okay now. Again, it used to be 4 seconds now. It's 2 seconds for activation. Streetwise, could be better. The whole bug around that was crazy. But it's still, I mean, giving yourself 80% now, solid. But you have to achieve the chest item, right? Strength and Shadows, good. Teamwork Collective Stealth, bad. Teamwork Power of 2, bad. Teamwork Throwdown could actually be solid, especially if someone gets picked up, you pallet stone or get a flashlight band save or a flashlight save, and then for 10 seconds your endurance, you can just kind of be annoying the guy who just got off the shoulder, just take a hit and then run with that speed. So whatever. Teamwork Toughen Up, better than these two, but bad. Technician, solid. Yeah, you lose if you miss a skill check, you lose more progress. But I mean, unless you're being countered by surveillance, this just makes generators super quiet. So I would say this is good for what it is. Tenacity, have to run your build around it, but again, not a bad perk. It's okay. This is not happening. I would say this is a bad perk. Again, great skill check zones are bigger unless you're running your build around it, but just bad. Troubleshooter, good perk. Unbreakable, good perk. Up the ante unless you're running a luck build, not very good. But again, it has its purpose, it has its builds. Urban Evasion, sure. Vigil, very good. Visionary, usually this is only good in indoor maps, so I would say this is bad for the most part, especially when you can just use Deja Vu. Wake Up, maybe I might get hate for this. I think this is a solid perk. We'll Make It, good perk. We're Gonna Live Forever, good perk. Wicked, good perk. Windows of Opportunity, good perk. Wiretap, good perk. And Blood Rush, which got, whatever. This is whatever. So there we go. Compared to what we went over with Survivor and Killers, of course Survivor has more perks, so there's more survivors in the game. I would just say Survivor, comparing the two, Survivor has better perks overall. They've gotten better general buffs to everything. Again, there's now no more 3-genning at all, so games can still go on for a long time, but no more 3-genning. Hooks are better overall. Stuff like healing has just been due to nerfs to certain stats effects, and healing, sure, certain healing perks have been nerfed, but healing overall has stayed the same. Say toolboxes has stayed the same, except for brand new part, which maybe was better, maybe it's not. That's for you to decide. Flashlights have stayed the same. Maps and keys are now better. Fog vials are in the game and are an option. They're not bad. They're not good. I wouldn't say they're too good, especially when they just got nerfed, but they're still not a bad option for items there. So again, and then again, you just have comms if you're running with friends. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you compare that to a killer who doesn't have comms and they're by themselves and whatnot. It makes it very, very tough. So I think this game is 100% survivor sided. Sure, you can say it goes survivor, solo survivor, then killer, then survivor with friends. But in almost any game that's an asymmetrical game, you should not be able to do 1v1s. 1v1s is obviously a very popular competitive thing in Dead by Daylight. I hate that. I don't think it should be a thing, because you shouldn't be able to 1v1 the killer. The killer should always be stronger than the survivor. That's the whole point. There's a reason why Jason in Friday the 13th was so strong and so overpowered, because there was 1 versus 7, right? Now this is 1 versus 4. Sure, it's why in TCM the killers can be very, very weak, because it's 3 versus 4. That's why they can be very weak. But in this game where it's still 1 versus 4, there's only one of you, unless you run, certain killers, whatever. They should be a lot stronger, in my opinion. The perks should be a lot better. They should not be nerfing all the generator perks, which is the main thing you want to be looking out for. Stuff like that. That's my rant. Again, maybe I'm just bad. It was a bad day. Maybe I'll end up deleting this video and never see the light of day. Who knows? But there you go. Have a good day, everybody.